I guess I do crazy things on the football field or whatever people think of me, but at the end of the day I'm just like anybody else, and I think that's where the coolest thing about connecting with fans is. At the end of the day I'm just like one of them. I think it's just been fun to be a part of the process. I think where I first started playing with the Matildas to where we are now as a team, how we're treated, how we're seen now is what we've always dreamed of. So I think it's just being a part of the process has always kept myself and the rest of the team very humble, because we didn't always have these opportunities, and also it's not just being smooth sailing, so you always have highs and lows in football, but the only thing I can really say is just the process and the people around me that have helped me, get to where I am. I don't do what I do alone, and no one in this team does. We all have amazing support teams behind us, so I think, the process and the people behind it. When I first started as the captain of the Matildas, I was a little bit shocked myself, but it's something that I was never going to say no to. It's honestly been so enjoyable, and I think I've grown a lot. I think I've grown more off the pitch than on the pitch, but it's such an easy job being the captain of the Matildas because we have so many leaders, so many people that could be the captain. And I was thinking about it the other day that I actually captain nearly every second game these days because we have so many milestones. So it's been really nice to enjoy it and share it with the team, and I still look up to so many of the girls on the team, and to lead them out is an honour, but it's also been an honour when they've led us out too. I think that's the great part about this team, is that everyone plays their part and everyone could wear the captain's armband, and it doesn't really matter. There's no ego in this team of who's wearing the armband. It's just about making the team succeed, and it's been really nice the last couple of years to kind of share that role with everyone. I think it's something that I've become more conscious about. I think when I first started, I just didn't see any reason to, I guess, explain who I am or what I am into or what I like or whatever it may be. And I think, my mum says even as a kid I was like that. I didn't understand why, the boys didn't want me to play with them, why people thought it was weird that I looked like a little boy. I've just always had that attitude and always just thought that whoever it is, whatever they wear, whatever they want to be, that's totally fine. For me, as I've become more and more in the spotlight, I have become more conscious of the things I post, the things I say, the impact that can have on people. But the one thing that I've always been really proud of is that I've always been myself, and hopefully, people find comfort in that, because I guess I do crazy things on the football field or whatever people think of me, but at the end of the day I'm just like anybody else, and I think that's where the coolest thing about connecting with fans is. At the end of the day I'm just like one of them. I think I've always had a very supportive family from when I was a kid. Always grew up being a little tomboy, and my parents never had anything to say about it. And then a lot of growth coming from experiences, being thrown into the limelight pretty quickly, moving away from home, all of those things, looking up to people and just finding what I really have interest in. And I think all my role models have been people that have really affected me off the pitch more than on the pitch. And I've found when someone's really powerful off the pitch, they bring people with them, they bring the team, they bring a country with them. And I think that's what I try and do now, is just be who I am and allow them to be who they are, because I think that's the most beautiful part of sport, is that it's all these different people coming together to achieve something great. It feels a while ago now, but what was it, 3 years ago now, I think the media attention that signing got, I think it was really cool to be a part of, and I loved the buzz around it, thought it was awesome. Instantly I had people that knew nothing about my club career or automatically knew about the Chelsea signing because of the brand that Chelsea is worldwide. But I guess, it's part of football. Everyone expected me to come in with a bang, but if history repeats itself ever again, I start slow all the time, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I guess then this was a learning moment in my career, like maybe let things get to me a little bit instead of just trusting in who I am and what I can do, and I lost a little belief in myself. But I think once I got the ball rolling, I knew it was back to normal, and then it's been good ever since. But it was definitely a learning moment, and one I'm grateful for now, because I think I've become much stronger for it. Yeah, I think so. I definitely do it consciously, but mostly because that's what I believe. I think that every single person plays a part. And, whether it's me scoring, Caitlin scoring, anyone scoring, there's always someone that made a tackle to get you the ball and someone that passed you the ball, and people sitting on the bench that support you, get you water, are there when someone gets injured. Like, it's a team effort. We've all been on the not playing side where we've had to be the support, and it's not easy. So I think The fact that I've been on either side of, the bench or the playing is just a learning curve for me and makes me realise that, it's not always easy for everyone. So the fact that my success is everyone's success is really important to me, and I'm never one to put myself on a pedestal and say that, it was all me, because I don't believe that at all, and I know how important every single person is on our team, even beyond the players, the staff, everyone that does everything, our family, everything that goes into being, the best team that we can be goes beyond just the 23 players in the squad. It's most important, of course, when you're competing. I think you see the worst and the best in people, and sometimes it is difficult, sometimes you make mistakes, but I think in my everyday life it's much easier than in your football life, because we're also competitive when we're playing football, that sometimes it is hard to be remembered as that. But I always try and be patient, always try and give time to the kids. That's one thing that I remember I really appreciated when I was young, the senior players putting their arm around me, so that's one thing I'm very conscious of. But I think it's much easier in my everyday life than it is in my football life, because sometimes you don't have time on the pitch to say it nicely or give information in a certain way. So I think it's finding the balance between being a competitor and being the best teammate in the world. But I really believe that everyone in the Matildas, including myself, are such great teammates. We have such a high level of respect for each other that's why this team just keeps rolling. I don't even think I can imagine what this legacy is going to leave for the Matildas, not only on home soil, home World Cup, but just women's football in general. I hope that it's the best women's World Cup, the most watched, the most attended, the best run tournament, obviously, all those things for women's football. But as a team and the Matildas, I hope this tournament is remembered for the rest of our lives, the rest of young girls and boys' lives. Kind of like Kathy Freeman in 2000, we still talk about that now as a team and is still referred to a lot. So I hope that in 20 years' time, people still talk about 2023 in Australia. And I think that is the legacy, win, lose or draw. I think the legacy is what this can do for the growth and the change of women's football in Australia. And yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait. Every time I think about it, I get goosebumps and can't even imagine what it's going to feel like. I just can't wait.
Guys, this is the start of our World Cup journey, so we have to believe in every single one of us to get to that World Cup final game. That's what we're aiming